Getting it. Okay, we're good to go. All right. Well, welcome back to Best Practice for our Thursday live stream. In this episode, we are talking about team culture and productivity. Just going to go back over some 101 principles around culture and what we do here at Best Practice. So hopefully that can help you guys understand how you can build a better culture. So if you're somebody who is working in an organization in a sort of middle level management role, or you're a leader, or you're an owner, or you're an operator of an organization, or you're part of a team in an organization, we're going to be talking about how to actually manage that, that potential. If culture's not managed, if your organization's not managed and you don't drive it, then you're going to get that toxic behavior and environment that people don't enjoy. So my goal here is to help you guys have a positive work environment that's productive, that people like going to every day. So if you've got people that don't like going to work every day, they don't like going to your organization, if you've got pain points with maybe you're feeling a little bit of toxicity, you're not feeling connected to the organization, particularly right now in this pandemic where not everybody, but lots of people working from home. What we've been doing, the thread for this week has been productivity and how to work productively from home, and then also how to manage your culture. I've got a team here in the studio with me this morning. They've got some questions. We put out an email to you guys to ask for questions. We've got some comments off the YouTube channel, and they've also pulled some questions off Google. So we're going to make it a little bit interactive. I've got a couple of principles I just want to quickly talk about, and then we'll do the Q&A section of this particular session. Good morning, Stan. I've ordered you a t-shirt. It's on its way. So lucky you. So if you do want a Best Practice t-shirt, like a Best Practice Biz t-shirt, I'll give away 4 t-shirts. So for those people that want t-shirts, comment on either YouTube or LinkedIn if you'd like a Best Practice Biz t-shirt. The first 4 people, not including Stan, to comment with your size and that you'd like a Best Practice Biz t-shirt, and we'll organise to freight that t-shirt to you anywhere in the world. So if you guys want a Best Practice Biz t-shirt, there'll be one condition. You've got to take a selfie when you get the t-shirt and send it back to us for Instagram. Okay, so if comment, let me know where you're watching from. If you are watching on YouTube or if you are watching on LinkedIn, that's where we're broadcasting live today. Comment for me and let me know where you're watching from, because I find it really exciting to see where everybody is from around the world. And if you've got any specific questions that I can help with around helping with team productivity, specific challenges, that's what this is for. We want to have a bit more of a Q&A feel to this session today, make it a little bit more meaningful and useful. Okay, so you guys let me know. I want to see those comments popping up. I'm just going to push this dashboard around so I can see it. Okay, excellent. Are you happy with that? We're all good? Okay, excellent. Luke's just going to bring up for me the LinkedIn dashboard so I can see the LinkedIn comments. And here we go. Okay, terrific. Let's go. Okay, so if you are watching on LinkedIn, hit that like button for me. Down the bottom of that LinkedIn feed, you got your like and your clapping hands and your hearts and things like that. Hit that for me right now. So that would be really helpful, and then I can see that pop up. And then also over there on YouTube, for those of you that are watching live on YouTube right now, let me know where you are watching from, if you can comment. Okay, let's get into it. Culture is really important for me. It's probably the most important issue that I manage on a daily basis. Yes, we talk about management systems, we talk about business plans, we talk about dashboards, profit and loss, we talk about recruitment, we talk about psychometric testing, we do ISO 9000 quality assurance, all these businesses, the Next Practice, where is it? Over here. Next Practice, our coaching business, our certification business, lots of great stuff. But embedded underneath all of that, it's really important to be managing culture and helping people have a great day, empowering people to be enjoying going to work and doing meaningful work. So there's a couple of things. The first thing that I do myself is I focus on helping people to work in their strengths. So just like running a football team or running a team of people, like a competitive sporting team, if you can have people playing their strength, and then you can look for the weaknesses in the team, not in the individual, then you can actually put people into those weaknesses. So you can add members of the team to cover the gaps who really enjoy playing a particular position or doing a particular role. So the first thing about building culture is the more that you can have people doing what they're feeling confident doing. So they've got to feel confident, they've got to be doing things that they can do sort of day in, day out, they're really effective at it. And it's the one thing that they can do And when they do it, when they do it well, it makes a real difference for the organization. So that is definitely something that 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 is the first thing from a cultural perspective, because people feel confident. If you've got everybody working in an area of a business where they're not strong and they're working when they don't feel confident, they don't feel comfortable, they feel a little bit exposed, that's going to carry through in the body language and behavior of the team, and it's also going to play out. It's going to be harder to manage culture and manage a great workplace. So that's the first thing in terms of doing work. So, I do it. So a bit of raw talent in terms of working with people. And then I also use the psychometric testing software. That's how we came across it. So the best practice talent, where do we see talent? Where is the biz thing? Talent is there. Best practice talent up here. So that brand, they do psychometric testing, and that's how we built it. It's all over the place. So we came across this testing product called PXT, and that's what I use. So we got everybody in the business to do PXT. It tells me what their strengths and weaknesses are, not what they think it is. And so with best practice, actually it's here, is it? There it is, best practice talent right here. So now I can see where the camera level is. So what we do is we can see the software will do an evaluation. It's quite an in-depth evaluation. We've got one of our team members doing PXT testing today so that we can actually get that report back. Now I can subjectively guess what I feel are their strengths and weaknesses, and I can watch them perform, but really this software actually does a deep dive. So we use that and we can do that. So then I use that to say, okay, what's the best job? Does the best job that I think the person can be doing, and the best job that the software thinks that person can be doing, and then we can deploy them in that place on the team. So that's the first thing. The second topic I wanted to talk about just quickly this morning before we get on to the questions is the 5 love languages. There's a great book by Gary Chapman, and I did see it on the shelf. There is The Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace. It was literally there on the shelf 2 days ago. I can't see it right now. I'll get it if I spot it. I'll get it. We will get it to you guys and show you, but it's the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman. It's moved from the shelf. It's because I was probably talking about it, put down in the pile in our library. So red book, can't see it, doesn't matter, it's right. The 5 love languages by Gary Chapman is an excellent book that I stumbled across about 5 years ago, and there are 5 love languages. So the context I'll give you is, Vanessa, I think it's here on the floor. Here we go. Yep, that's it. Yep. They're going to post the link to it in the comments on LinkedIn and on YouTube, and then I'll show it to you guys. It's an excellent book, The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. Everybody's now looking through the library to try and find it. It's probably on the floor, actually. There's a red one. It's red, The Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace. Everyone's jumped to attention and they're looking for it while they're helping me here in the studio. It's red. Did you find it? There it is. Bingo. Okay, here we go. This one here, the 5 languages of appreciation in the workplace. That's the book there. There's the original piece of work by Gary Chapman, the 5 love languages, which is excellent. And there's the 5 languages of appreciation in the workplace. What's important about this? I've found over my leadership career that everybody likes to get thank you. The most common piece of feedback is like, it's nice to get a word of thanks occasionally. I put that in the wrong place. There we go. So in terms of actually, if you want to screenshot that, that's the book. Happy with that? Okay, we've got that in focus. Excellent. So everyone likes to get a word of thanks. What I found is actually you can go a little bit deeper with that. And this is about culture and productivity. I try to make a point every day of when people are leaving, say, hey, thanks for today. It's not just something for Fridays, it's for every day. Hey, thanks for today. I'm not sure when I'm going to see them again. So when people are leaving, it's like, hey, thanks very much. I appreciate the effort that you put in today. Now, with the 5 love languages, everybody has a preference, and it changes through your life, different times of your life, a preference for the 5 love languages. One is a preference for gifts, compliments, touch, quality time, or acts of service. So different people are going to have a different love language that they desire. So you can think about yourself and you can say from your partner or someone close to you, what is the thing that you prefer that they give you? Do they prefer they give you a well thought out gift? Do they prefer they give you touch, like a shoulder rub or a pat on the back? Do they prefer they give you a compliment or some gratitude, verbal gratitude? Do they prefer they spend quality time with you? Or do you really like it when they do little things for you to help you? And so what I do with my team is I make sure, I'm quite blunt about this actually. I ask people, what do you think your love language is? What is the thing that I could do more of? What could I do more of? Could I give you more gifts? Could I give you more quality time? Could I give you more compliments and recognition? Could I spend more quality time with you? Could I do little things to help you out? Can I tidy the office or make sure things are in place or get tools and systems sorted out for you? And people will tell me. And so then how I express my gratitude is for each of those people. I'm like bilingual. I make sure I focus on giving them their love language and filling up that part of their tank. So as you develop yourself as a leader, you have to be bilingual. We've got to be very, it's a bit of emotional intelligence, if you like, to start to think about the people that are around you. Whether you're a leader or whether you're just working in a team, start thinking about the people around you and going to them specifically and saying, what do I do that you like that I could do more of? What do I do that you like that I could do more of? And that's going to really help you. It's going to start lifting culture. You're going to be a battery charger. You're not going to be a toxic person. So you have battery chargers and battery drainers. I know that I'm very much a battery charger. I know I inspire people. I know I motivate people. That's why we're doing more and more social media, because it's unethical of us not to actually project as much of the positive energy that we've got to give as possible. And that's my job. My job is to show up and help you guys. So what I want you to be thinking about is think about the people closest to you. You could start with your family, and you can start with the people around you, and you can say, okay, cool. What is it that I do what is it that I do that you like, and can I do more of it for you? Would you like me to do more of it? You can start there. Then you can start to think about those categories. Is it gifts? Is it quality time? Is it touch? Is it words of affirmation? Is it acts of service? And that is the concept of the 5 languages of appreciation in the workplace. That's what we work on here at Best Practice. And look, I can't profess to say I do it 100% of the time, but I definitely don't do it 0. And I do make a point of there are certain people I just go and charge their battery a little bit. It's Kelly John Woods here in the office. He likes a hug. So, some days, once a week at least, walk up to him, give him a hug. It's a bro hug, pat on the back. Hey mate, you're doing a great job. I really appreciate it. And that tops him up, and he feels really good and connected with the business. And that's my way of saying thank you. I thank him with a hug. So I want you to start to think about that. It's not, yes, I could write a check, or I could, take his plate from lunch or his coffee cup and put his coffee cup in the kitchen, but he really likes to be thanked with a hug. So it's those kinds of examples. Yes, there you go, Annie. I appreciate that comment there on LinkedIn. Yes, definitely for some people, it's a must read for their personal relationships, and it's absolutely fantastic book. We use it here in the office here at Best Practice. It's one of the mandatory sort of books to read and be aware of, and people will get that from me. I'll ask them what their love language is, and I'll make sure I deploy it, and that's across our whole team here at Best Practice. So it's not so crazy, Annie. Is that's why we focus on the workplace book. That's why this one has come about. So then touch is a funny topic with sexual discrimination and sexual harassment in business. You got to be a bit careful with it. We're certainly very careful here at Best Practice. Some people don't like to be touched, but it is a very touchy-feely business. There are sometimes a love language that we automatically speak, and there's a love language that we like. So the thing for you to start to think about is start to try to deliver or give those different love languages for the different people around you, and you will build better connections, and you will feel the culture of the organization lift. And that's one of the common comments for people when they come and visit us here at Best Practice is they're like, oh my God, the culture here at Best Practice is amazing. And that's why. So I just wanted to give you as a starting point for team culture and productivity. I'm going to go back over what I covered yesterday in the live stream. If you missed yesterday's live session, please go back to the YouTube channel. Yesterday we covered productivity in a lot of detail. I'll quickly go back over it. Yesterday we talked about A, B, C, D, E tasks, and we talked about my 7 tips for working faster and being more productive. So A, B, C, D, E was A is a must-do task. It's the things that you must do. B is the should do. C is the nice to do. D is delegate, and E is eliminate. And we want to be working in the A, must do. And anything that's a should do or nice to do, don't do those things until you've finished your must do's. And that's a productivity thing. So I think when we can start to see people around us being productive and we can get a good connection with the 5 love languages, you will build a great productive culture in your organization. And that is one of the best things to focus on if your organization is struggling through this particular pandemic, and also with people working from home. If people are working from home, you need to put more effort into building culture, making a connection. Even if those people don't report to you, you can be the battery charger for your organization. I've always been that person from my whole career. People are always making comments that I'm the battery charger. I've got the energy. They like hanging around, being part of the, getting a little piece of Kobe every week. And so that, that is important. I do bring that energy, but I genuinely care about people's happiness and helping people. I'm not for everybody. I know that. I've definitely also had that feedback, like, get away from me, you're too positive. But toxic people, they don't have that impact on me. Sounds like the studio dog has just arrived here at Best Practice. So I apologise if there's any barking from Scupper in the background. Okay, so never work with children or animals, they say, when you're broadcasting live. So you guys have got some questions for me here in the studio. What do you got? What have we got?
The first one that I had is, how do you encourage your team to become cultural advocates?
So the first question was, how do I encourage our team to be cultural advocates? Look, I think the first one is to acknowledge that everybody contributes to culture, and having people bring some self-awareness to themselves. So having people understand that we all contribute to it. We all affect the market. We all affect the culture. So I want you to understand that you all affect it. And it's important. That's my concept of being a battery drainer, like a toxic person, or a battery charger. Do you add energy to all of your relationships? So asking that question first, and then if I can bring self-awareness to it, then we can start building some tools. Like if people say, actually, I really want to lean into this and I want to be part of that, I want to be a cultural champion, then I can give them some more tools. Okay, let's learn to speak the 5 love languages. Let's learn to see, like you guys will be just projecting your automatic love language. Like whatever you do, you'll be projecting that. Emily, one of our head of operations yesterday, brought in some bread rolls and put them on the table. So that's like a gift for the office. So she must speak, like sort of subconsciously speak gifts or acts of service. Like we can dig a little bit deeper. So it's understanding starting to see what people are doing. Because if you don't feel you think, gee, that person's really ungrateful. People aren't intentionally ungrateful. You just probably aren't noticing the language they're speaking, if that makes sense. So that's the first thing that we can do to start that off. Okay, what's the next one? You want to do one? Yep.
What are your tips on working within a team with different personalities and communication styles?
Tips. So the question was, what are my tips for working in a team that has different personalities and different communication styles? Okay. I think the first tip is acknowledging that there are different communication styles. There's definitely different generations. And despite the fact that I don't think I'm old, I'm starting to feel old. I'm 45 next week. And with you guys coming through, I am old school as far as running a business is concerned. It's all on the phone and it's phone calls. But there is definitely a generation coming through who are an email message generation or a direct message generation. And so the communication is in text. The thing I struggle with is articulating tone across text. Now, it's either a text message or an email message, but when a message is in text, I've never really been good to demonstrate how I'm raising my voice or lowering my voice and projecting tone. I'm a very good verbal communicator. So I'll give you an example. I did not say that he stole the money. I did not say that he stole the money. I did not say that he stole the money. I did not say that he stole the money. Now, in a text message or an email, that sentence is almost exactly the same depending on where you put commas. Because it's a sentence, it starts, it has a full stop at the end, and you can move a comma around based on the tone. So I find it personally much harder to communicate exactly what I mean. And you can see I can do it verbally because I can put tone and inflection in different places in the sentence. So I think the first thing is acknowledging that there are some skills that we've developed as humans. Our brain is 2 million years old. It hasn't evolved in the last 2 million years. And we've developed vocal tone. I think the next thing to acknowledge is our vocal tones are changing. I've been watching some 30-year-old videos on a particular research project I'm doing, and our accent here in Sydney has changed in 30 years. So I think the first thing is to bring self-awareness to it. The second is to be thinking about intent, and then starting to acknowledge that there are people with different personalities, and not let someone's different personality, don't scale back too much, but just understand that some people are a little bit quiet and reserved. They're a little bit conservative. They're not the class clown or the life of the party. That's always been me. I'm always the person that's like making the most noise, doing the crazy shit at parties, being the class clown, entertaining people. That's always been me. Very outgoing, very verbose personality. But I know that some people will move away from me because I'm too noisy, if that makes sense. So it's understanding what the intent is and what we're trying to achieve. In the workplace, it's about working well as a team. And different cultures will be different. This is a business that is, it's not, we're not wearing suits and ties, although we're a suit and tie business. Like our competitors all wear suit and ties, we don't. This is our culture, but it fits also into the culture of where we live and where we're established as a business. So I think the first thing is to bring some self-awareness. The second is to think about intent. And then the third is to actually use empathy. Teaching everybody empathy and what empathy means that actually, instead of going, oh, that person's a bit strange, they're not talking to me, actually empathizing with that person, leaning in and saying, hey, what's on your mind? And they might prefer a quiet conversation in a comfy chair in a meeting room than standing at the coffee machine in the kitchen. And so then you, as a leader, it's about being self-aware that actually different people are going to need different structures. If I need to counsel somebody, say something, give some negative feedback on performance, most people prefer that to be one-on-one, personal, in a private room, in a private conversation. And so as a leader, the worst thing that you can do is actually do that publicly berate people. So when we talk about like how to actually get good communication structures, we need to think about what we need to communicate, when we need to communicate it, and what the outcome we're looking for. So if I need to get someone's performance to improve, I need to not penalize, because we don't penalize people here at Best Practice, but the kind of like someone's getting in trouble for something. No one gets in trouble for things here at Best Practice. When we make mistakes, we acknowledge that we found another way that doesn't work. And we've got to start with that. We've got to say, everybody's okay to make mistakes. We need to learn from those mistakes because our objective is to achieve a goal. And you just made a mistake. You stepped in a puddle. You got dirty feet. You got your boots muddy. And you made a mistake and something went wrong. But that's because we are all working towards a goal. If I think about football and soccer as an analogy, the other team is trying to score goals against you the whole match, and you're trying to score goals against them. Someone's got to lose, but the goal is to get more goals than them by the end of the match. So if they get 2 goals, you got to get 3 goals. If they get no goals, you got to get 1 goal. That's how you win. And so you acknowledge that actually it's okay to make mistakes. We got to make 1 less mistake than them, and we win the match. And so in business, it's exactly the same. If you miss a kick, okay, let's move on. What are we doing about it? How do we stop missing it? So that's sort of my theory. Good morning, Faith. Buenas noches, David. Thank you for joining us once again. I appreciate it's late for you. Tom, thanks very much for that feedback. And Annie, great to have you guys watching live on LinkedIn. Hope this is helpful. If this is helpful, comment for me on LinkedIn or on YouTube. Comment yes or no with this stuff. Okay, next question. That's a challenge. The question was, how do you lead and manage a big team from home? We have 52 people. I have 52 people reporting into me here at Best Practice, and I will say that's a challenge. The first thing that I do is I delegate some of that leadership. So we split the team up so we can, thanks very much for that like, I appreciate that. So the first thing we do is we separate people out. So I have managers. So Emily, the head of operations, manages probably one of the biggest teams. Vanessa manages the marketing team. Woodsy, Kelly John Woods is helping me out with the sales team. So the first thing I do is obviously try and break my team down a little bit. Couple of things I've done in the last 24 hours. We'll do a big Google meeting. So on Monday next week, we've got a big Google meeting. Everybody comes in and joins, and that is monthly. A lot of companies don't do that, but we stop the company for the last Monday of the month, every month, and everybody stops for 2 or 3 hours for a full company meeting on Google Hangouts or Google Meet. So if it's a Zoom or a Skype or something like that, I think it's important to get everybody together all at the same time. There's absolutely no reason, particularly now with technology, that you don't do that. Everybody can access it. I can access it anywhere that I've got cellular reception for my iPhone. I can access that meeting. So on Monday, we're doing that. We've been doing it every month for about 3 or 4 or 5 years. No, it's probably longer than that. Longer than that, it's probably more like 6 years. We've been doing it every month. So that's on Monday. The other thing that we do regularly is we have a private secret Facebook group where we're putting in happy birthday to people. One of the guys in the team turned 50 this week, so it's happy birthday, Nick. So we make sure we're doing that and acknowledging people and singling out people, for things they're doing. The last thing, and I did this yesterday, I sat in those chairs right there in this studio yesterday, and I texted about 15 people yesterday, hey, just checking in, how you going, how's your day? And so a text message, like 3 words as a touch point, and then eventually the reply text messages came back over the next sort of 12, 13 hours. I'll go back and send some more text messages. So I've got a text thread set up with our most remote people, and I'm just sending them text message, just checking in, how you going, anything on your mind? And it's just that small little touch point with a big team. That is your role. Your role as the leader is to be like helping your team achieve their goals, sit there as the coach. They do the work. But I think a lot of leaders make a mistake that they actually no, I've got to do the work. I've got to micromanage it. I've got to check everything. No, you don't. You've got to empower your team to actually do what they're good at. Does that help? Awesome. All right, what do you got?
In terms of working from home, how do you set yourself up for success in terms of routines and an office environment?
Okay. The question was, in terms of working from home, how do you set yourself up for success and like an office working environment? Is that the question? Okay. So the first things first is to have a dedicated place where you can work. I know that some people have been sitting at their dining room table, or they haven't got space to have an extra desk. I've seen Zoom meetings. I've been in Zoom meetings where people have got like a desk pushed up in the corner of their bedroom. And I think that, I know it's challenging for some people. I've seen some people sitting on, like boxes because they don't have a chair to sit on. So I think that I know it's challenging for some people in terms of cost and setting yourself up, setting yourself up for success. So I think the first thing that you can be doing is actually having a dedicated place to work. In terms of a morning routine, it's very important to get out of the house. So the first thing you've got to be doing if you are working from home is you've got to get out of the house. It's really easy to make yourself a hot drink and start working. So I think the first thing is you've got to go out for a walk, and it needs to be a minimum of 30 minutes. You need to get your blood level, you need to get your pulse up and your heart rate up. And so it's going for a solid walk, finding a hill if you can find a hill, and making that walk a little bit hard so you can get your body moving. The human body's designed to move. It's not designed to be sedentary. So I think that's the first thing. You got to eat properly. That's the next thing. So actually eating properly and saying, hey, we want to be thinking about the ingredients that we're doing. So the person that's working from home is a knowledge worker. You obviously can't work in a factory from home. And so what's happening is actually the most important muscle that you're using when you are working from home is your brain. And it's very important to be thinking very clearly and closely and doing some Google searching around the ingredients that you're eating to ensure that you're thinking as smart as you possibly can. There are some ingredients that you can consume that are going to slow you down, and alcohol is number one. And so I would recommend, as easy as it is to be doing a lot of drinking and consuming alcohol in the afternoon when you're working from home, you want to be really thinking, closely, really closely about those ingredients, things like high quality fats, high quality proteins, high quality vegetables, simple foods, and things like fish that's high in omega-3 fatty acids. They're going to help you think, in terms of actually this food that I'm eating, this food I'm about to eat today, on a scale of 1 to 10, how does it contribute to my ability to think? And it's really starting to consider the fact that you've got a knowledge worker. I am a knowledge worker. I'm using my brain. I'm doing professional work. I've got to think smart. That's what I'm being paid to do. And a lot of people miss that sort of very conscious decision. What do I consume and when? For me, I can do a fast until midday and I actually think more clearly. If I drink too much coffee, I stop thinking. Like I literally have mental blanks. I can't think of names. I can't think of words. So I've got to very carefully monitor and manage my caffeine consumption. And then obviously getting out and doing some exercise. Having a morning routine, getting up and having a shower, putting on a professional outfit, getting dressed for work, getting dressed for the camera, thinking about your lighting, having a tidy desk. Having a tidy area and a tidy desk is very important. So putting all the junk on the floor and having a clean desk is very important for your mind. So I mean, without going into too much detail, I think that's the best thing, that morning routine, stopping and having breaks. Kelly John Woods, who is working here behind us, our head of commercial here at Best Practice, has a standing desk in the office and at home. He doesn't sit down. And so for him, he's telling me that he's lost like 4 kilos through the pandemic because he's been standing up working. So it's those kinds of things that you can start to think about, and he thinks better on his feet. I think better on my feet, like it's a saying, right? I think better on my feet. Stand up and do your thinking. Make sense? Awesome. One more question, and then we'll. I've got someone hovering around waiting for a meeting, so I'll run to that meeting.
My last question was, how do you remain productive when working from home as a young parent?
That's a tough one. The question was, how do you remain productive when you're working from home as a young parent? I get it's a challenge. We did the homeschooling thing. It is a challenge. It is very difficult. And I think the best thing that you can do is to try not to put expectations on yourself about when you do your work as a young parent with kids. And so I will get up early. This morning I was awake at 5:15, and I will do my work, try to get my work done before 7 a.m. So I'm actually twice as productive between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. as I am in any other hour of the day. And so in our household from 5 a.m. to 7, because my son doesn't get up until generally about 7, he was by chance up this morning at 6 randomly. But I think that actually getting up earlier, then you can spend quality time with your family. I know there are office expectations, but try to remove some of those expectations from yourself. So any sit down thinking work that you can do it while everyone's asleep. Then any phone call-y type work that you've got to be doing in terms of connecting and communicating with the office, it's easier to do that with distractions and kids. And then you can spend quality time with them. And then any other thinking work in reading emails and doing those kinds of things, do them when they go to sleep. Either if they're young kids, they'll hopefully be having a day sleep. And if they are sort of moderate level, they either go to school or they do the homeschooling. And then setting some rules. Rules like, hey guys, all right, you need to go to work, I need to go to work, everyone's going to be quiet for 30 minutes, and then we're going to have a break and have some fun, and then we're going to go back and do that work again. So I think, as a young parent, you've got to manage your expectations, and then obviously, manage that time as well. A couple of questions there in the feed. How do you add extra energy via a video chat? Video chat, we also, the energy we do as well here at Best Practice is dad jokes, or what we call dad jokes here at Best Practice. So Annie, for your question there, we add extra energy with just some really clean, simple jokes, and it just breaks the ice and it helps people. Absolutely. You're saying add some fun, hosting an escape room birthday party on Google Meet. Yes. So we've been hosting team drinks. We've been hosting a bunch of stuff here with Best Practice. Some team building and team meetups as well. The other thing we've also been doing with people working from home is on a Friday, we have been going for the people that live near each other, we've been going for a big walk every Friday now. Every Friday morning at 6 a.m. for 5 months, we've been going for a walk. Kelly John Woods and I went extra early last Friday, and we walked 25 kilometres on Friday morning. So yes, it's kind of blending, but people are working from home, so people that work close to each other, then we take photos and we share the photos with people from the business. Just going to get David's question on YouTube. What could be good advice to people who think that working from home reduces the visibility of their performance and the possibilities of improving their career? So David, I think it's very important. These were some questions I asked yesterday. If you focus on doing the A, B, C, D, E that I talked about yesterday in the productivity video, so the must-dos, the should-dos, the nice-to-dos, and the delegates, or eliminate, my first advice to you, David, is to ensure that you are doing the must-dos first, and you're making it very visible to your boss that you're doing the must-dos first. Forget about the should-dos or the nice-to-dos, because they might be your ideas of what to do, and leaning in and actively communicating with your boss or with your manager or with key people so that you can show transparently that the outcomes are being delivered. Make sure you're focusing on the outcomes. A lot of people think it's important to file emails, for example, but your boss won't value that. That has absolutely no value to your boss. So that's a should-do or a nice-to-do. Focus on ensuring that you do the must-dos. Do the things that what can I and only I do that, if done well, will make a real difference. So what can you do, and only you can do, and that if you do it really well, it's going to make a huge difference for the business. You've got to do those first. Those are your working from home priorities. The should do's and the nice to do's, you can forget about that stuff. Then yesterday I talked about urgent versus important. There's a matrix. It goes important, not important, important and not important, urgent and not urgent. And you want to stay up in the important and urgent, and the important and not urgent, and be doing those tasks to help people in your organization and focusing on that. So if you get the chance on our YouTube channel, have a look at the live stream we ran yesterday. I go through that productivity. I had 7 tips. They're still on the wall here in the studio. Work harder at what you do, work faster, work on high value activities. What's the highest value activity you can be doing today for your organization? And that will help you, because the visibility of your performance is maybe not active. So focusing on and asking your manager or your boss, what's the highest value activity that I can be doing today? Checking in with them every day. I check in with, it looks like we've just had a spillage. I check in with Caitlin, my executive assistant, every morning at 8 a.m. and I can see what she's working on. And you can have that conversation. You can say, what is the most valuable activity that you can be working on today? And you can ask that question. Thank you, Stan Wall. Thank you very much. I appreciate the comments. Okay, so let's go one more question. Who's next? Well, you guys are out of questions. You're done? Okay, they're done. Okay, the questions are all done. Let me just have a quick look at all the comments. I think I've got all the comments from everybody on the live stream. Hey, hit that like button. If you here's the dog's in the office. If this was really useful for you, please do me a favor and hit that like button on YouTube. If you are watching after the recording, please, if you've got comments, you want to let me know where you're watching from, I appreciate that. I see all of the comments that come in after the live stream. I hope this has been really useful for you. Do me a favor, share this with your team. Jump onto YouTube and grab on the YouTube channel, Best Practice TV. There's a Q&A, team culture and productivity. That's the title of this particular video. The live stream is going to be sitting there. This is going to be really helpful for your team if any of your team members are working from home. So copy that link, share it with the people email it to the people on your team. Anybody that needs to see this video on LinkedIn, as soon as I finish, tag them. So tag all of the people in your office, tag as many people. You type in their name, you press enter, their name's going to come up. So any of your connections, any of your contacts on LinkedIn, if you've been watching live on LinkedIn or you are watching the recording, start adding their name in the comments so that they can use this useful comment to help them to be more productive. Hit that like button. You can hit it as many times as you like, that blue like button down the bottom on LinkedIn or the like button there on YouTube. That helps me a lot. It helps the algorithm know that I'm talking about the right stuff, both on YouTube and LinkedIn, and we get more out there. Okay, so I appreciate all those comments. So if this was useful, please comment yes. If it wasn't useful, please comment no. And if there is specific topics or items you want me to talk more about in terms of how we run Best Practice, what are we doing here at Best Practice, please let me know either via email. If you haven't signed up to the email, jump on bestpractice.biz, scroll to the bottom of the page and sign up for the email newsletter. We're working hard on the next edition of our magazine. That'll be coming out shortly. Really excited. Lots of great stuff happening. If you haven't checked in on bestpractice.biz in the last couple of days, the news feed is being updated every single day, 3 articles every single day. And if you haven't followed bestpractice.biz on LinkedIn, the .biz page, jump across and follow that. That's our corporate page on LinkedIn as well. Okay, I'm going to call it there because I've got someone waiting for a meeting for me downstairs. I'm going to run down to that right now. What's Next Practice? Anything about team building? Next Practice is our business coaching, team building company. You can have a look at bestpractice.biz and you can see services and you can see all the services of Next Practice. All the stuff I talk about in these videos is everything that we put into practice with clients. We run workshops online like this. We set up and we have different presenters and different coaches from our business in Next Practice, and they can help your team. So what I'm trying to do here with our content is help you guys do this yourselves, but if you want someone to come in and coach you and hold you accountable, the team of people at Next Practice, that's what they're for. You can reach out to our director, Nick Fagan. I can put you in contact, and Next Practice can come in and help you with that. Nick Fagan is texting me right now, and I appreciate that text message so coming up on my screen. Okay, I'm going to call it there because I've got to run to a meeting. I hope this was really helpful for everybody. Please let me know. If you don't see me out and about, you'll definitely see me next time right here on Best Practice TV. Thanks for all the comments, everybody. Thank you for the questions. I look forward to answering more questions in the next Q&A. Bye for now.